DC Multiverse!
Hello, super friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at the McFarlane Toys Digital Classic Bronze Age Red Tornado. A character that, if you're anything like me, close to my age, this is your version of Red T. Dude comes with a digital scratch-off card, a Red Tornado trading card with a fantastic image on the front, and the data file on the back. As always, you can feel free to pause to read if you like. Two more open flighty hands, the McFarlane Toys digital action figure base, and the figure itself. Clearly this would not be McFarlane's first take at releasing a Red Tornado, because here is their attempt at a more modern style Red Tornado. And this Red Tornado is largely made on the same body as the previous one, but there are differences. The torso pieces are different. They're not the same sculpt. They don't look the same. Of course, Reddy has the proper gloves for him to be Bronze Age. And this version doesn't have his cape held on by these medallions. Rather, it's held on like it's supposed to be by this here yellow line that it gets tucked under. And of course, one of the biggest differences is that the first Red Tornado has a rubber cape that was used previously with Alan Scott Green Lantern, while this one has a cloth goods cape, which we'll go a little bit more into later on in the video. One thing that the previous Red Tornado came with was this tornado base, and I really would have loved to see the Bronze Age one come with this as well. Just for funsies, we're gonna get Reddy up here on the spinner so he can go around in a circle and do his fashion model thing where we get to see exactly what he looks like. I know I've already had him in front of the camera, but I feel like the video is more complete once I've popped him up here on the spinner and given you guys a 360 look at him before we get this Red Tornado in hand. So there you have it. This is his 360 roundabout. Now, what I really like about this figure is I like how yellow and red, the yellow and red parts are. They're really nice and bright, as they should be, rather than being muted versions of the colors. And in comparison to my Superpowers version, he really looks the part. I do have the DC Universe Classics version, but he's buried under all this stuff, and I just really don't. Okay, fine, I'll bring him out. And here he is in comparison to the DC Universe Classics version of Red Tornado. And they both look good, but I like how bright the new one is. I really like how bright the new one is. And you'll notice something, if I just bring back the Superpowers version and stand him there too, you'll notice one fine detail that is missing between these two and the new one, and that is no lines on the front of his legs. Now, there have been artists in the past who have not drawn the lines on the front of the legs, but it would have been a little neat had they have been there. Oh, and it turns out I didn't even need to get that Red Tornado out because I've got one right there in my DC Universe Classics display. Well, frick. So now, having this guy in hand and looking up closer at him, we can see how clean and crisp all of the paint lines are for this guy. They look really good. They did a fantastic job. And the facial sculpt looks pretty good. I believe it's exactly the same as the previous Red Tornado, only with a little bit less paint apps, but it looks really good. This looks like Red Tornado. Yeah, no complaints whatsoever. The head mold is great, and the yellow arrow on his forehead looks good. As for the wires right here in his cape, well, there are wires up top. These are wired right here. However, when you get down here, not wired. And I'm glad that these are wired, because that means they're going to stand up nicely. But it would have been nice if there were wires in the entirety of the cape, and I'm not sure why there's not. The sewing is done really nice along the edges of the cape. It's a little bit choppy up top here for his collar. And for old Reddy here, I don't mind them using that ribbon material on his cape. I feel like that actually looks pretty good for what it's supposed to be. As for his articulation, this is a body that's fairly well articulated. It's not the greatest out of Todd's action figure body bucks for articulation, but you can't expect articulation points in all of the main places. And they're going to do roughly, well, that's different. That one crunches right up. And that one, there we go. They both do. They both crunch right up. That's nice. You can expect them to do what you would expect his averagely articulated figures to do. So that means, you know, as far as the downward crunch, don't expect a whole lot, but back goes way back and way around. He's got the waist. That'll do 360. He's got his head on a rounded ball joint, and it does everything that I need it to do. Looks down, looks up for flight poses. So yeah, no complaints about the head articulation. McFarlane style groin, as we're used to seeing, and the legs can go forward quite a bit, and they can go back quite a bit, and they can splay out all the way. So no complaints there. What does he have in the way of a thigh cut? Pretty much nothing. Well, yeah, that's kind of dumb. Almost nothing in the way of the thigh cut. And then he has double jointed knees. They're nice and tight, and they double joint well. We have the ankle, which is a pivot, and it goes forward quite nicely and down quite nicely, as well as, say it with me now, toe articulation. Toe articulation. Sam Hain. Who gets annoyed and says Sam Hain? I suck. So there we have it. We've looked at this Red Tornado all the way from beginning to end, up close and personal. And I can tell you that I do like this guy. The only thing is that I wish that he had the yellow lines painted on the front and a wire in the cape. Other than that, I think that it is indeedy doodly a fantastic figure. Anyway, that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all with the next one. Have a DC day, everybody, and take care.